let's try and keep this short and sweet. Mainly due to the fact that I don't think there's that many skins this week that could actually work out as nice investments. But you know what? It was smart to wait until the first 24 hours of sales, because now you can see with your own eyes, those skins aren't really selling that much, are they? No. Especially if you were to go ahead and compare to the previous week. Because last week we saw multiple skins sell quite a lot initially, and, after a full 7 days, they did reach quite high numbers. Reasonably. To be honest with you, it did kind of slow down with last week's skins. But this week's skins, well, it's a perfectly fine batch, except the clothing and the armour. Where's that? What is clothing and armour? Anyway, we did see a Revolver. We've basically got confirmation that we're going to get a brand new small box collection. We've got even more metal shop fronts and armoured doors. Like, it's alright, but again, nothing really stands out super insanely, bar a couple things. So, okay, cool. There's the first 24 hours of sales. I should also point out, if you want to get a good look at all the brand new skins, consider watching the Rust rotation for July 9, 2026. But yep, for this predictions video, I think I'm just going to jump straight in. What's the best looking skin this week that could probably turn into the best investment? What's the most reliable looking skin? It's the Revolver. It's the Revolver. Of course it's the Revolver. So I'm always bigging up the Revolver skins. I'm always sitting here and saying they tend to be the most reliable thing to chase after. Like, I guess the only other thing that's equal to it would be like hammer skins. Yeah. So all I got to do is just show you this and you'll be like, oh, okay then, yeah. Look at that, look at it. Look at all the green, look at all the positivity. Now, can I just sit here and say, this does not compare to the recent transparent aim sight Revolver skins. So, of course, I'm referencing the likes of the Olympus Revolver and, of course, the Old Pirate Revolver. Now, it's slightly better compared to a Heatseeker, but Heatseeker didn't even budge. To my surprise, I've seen panic selling of only Olympus and Old Pirate Revolver, which, to be honest with you, again, all you got to do is just watch the Rust rotation, look specifically for the part where I showcase the Revolvers. You'll see it with your own eyes. Our brand new optimized Revolver doesn't actually really compare. Now, at the end of the day, it's still a Revolver. It's still probably going to be appreciated ever so nicely as time goes on. Yeah, it starts at $3, but it's still a perfectly fine looking skin. But what I'm going to sit here and say, in regards to pay to win features, it doesn't actually have as much compared to this and this. So if you're one of those people that dump these, you're quite foolish, I'm sorry to say. Now, if I could remind you of the Black Ops Revolver, the Chameleon Revolver, the Redemption Revolver, the Soul Eater Revolver, those are all revolvers that didn't even have any transparency. Mainly on the aim sight. I know Black Ops Revolver had some transparency, if I can recall, but it wasn't really anything special. Anyway, yeah, they all worked out perfectly fine. So, yeah. I mean, do I really need to say anything else? We hardly ever see Revolver skins being accepted anymore. Yeah, there might be a possibility it might become a focused item of the month. If that were to happen, okay, yeah, that would be a bit problematic. And to be honest with you, we have to anticipate that day eventually happening. Although it might not happen until next year. Hopefully. I wouldn't be surprised if that's probably the last Revolver skin for this year. Maybe there might be another one. We shall see. But as you can clearly see, we don't really get that many of them anymore. That is technically 2 for that year. If you can recall E-Class Revolver, that's a whole weird story. But yes, we don't really get that many of them. And yet a lot of people happen to use the weapon quite a lot. So, well, there's justification to use skins. Well, you notice the skins are doing very nicely. Wow. So, yes, optimized Revolver. As sequel to the AK-47, the SAP and the Python. And keep an eye on that AK. I know it dipped down in price, but it's already starting to recover. All right, I'm just going to point that out. SAP's already happy. Yep. But honestly, with only 8,500 subscribers in the first 24 hours of sales, I will give you a rough estimate immediately in regards to how much it's likely to sell by next Thursday. It could probably push up to, at best, maybe 25,000 subscribers. Because I cannot stress this enough, Revolvers are usually perfectly fine investments. Like, if you have multiple accounts and you feel the need to move funds from one account to another without too much of a problem, you know, what with the tax and whatnot, Revolver. I mean, to be honest with you, last week's boonie hats were probably a very great consideration as well for that. But, well, yeah, Revolver's also a very good shout as well. So, interesting. Very, very interesting. And if you notice, more subscribers just appeared there. Obviously, you know, more time has just passed since I made the tweet. So, all right, cool. So, yeah, optimize Revolver. That is the thing to chase after this week. Of course, we can wait until we do the abnormal barders and blah, 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 blah. I'm still buying some. So, yes, I know it's not as good in comparison to the other Revolvers in terms of pay-to-win features. It's still reliable. Again, the only potential problem that we could potentially foresee is if it becomes a focused item of the month. And again, I feel like that's going to happen eventually. I'm just hoping it happens early next year when we're awaiting our first Revolver skin for 2027. Because at the very least then, we've had like the summertime pass, post-Christmas past, and then we'll actually know that we're about to get tons of Revolver skins getting accepted in such a short amount of time. That would be most ideal. So, yep, I'm positive about that. But is there anything else I'm like positive about here? Like, I've got to hand it to the designs. Some of these skins do look very nice. And again, consider watching the restoration video to get a good look at them. But I have to sit here and say, I'm quite surprised to see the Sinotype mini firearms box isn't selling that much. So, Sinotype hype is back, I guess. Yeah. Now, mini cards box has been appreciated. Ever since it came out, it's been in the positive, and now we have another small box. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So I'm not sure where specifically it's going to go next, although if I go over to here, if I go to the workshop, you might notice certain people have already started sending messages, including me, because I was surprised he went with a guns box for the next small box, but he wanted to treat it as a special anniversary skin. It's been a year since the large firearms box was accepted, so all right, fair enough. But I've already given him the ideas. Seeds, tea, meds, fish, fuel, diving, drop box, car parts for small boxes. There's a lot of options there, which a lot of people would greatly appreciate. But it seems he's actually considering a fridge. I'm not opposed to that, but, you know, we need to see more small boxes for the pre-existing small boxes to greatly appreciate. So, yes, I mean, we'll see, yep. So, yeah, Odyssey, keep an eye on him, all right? He's going to be making some very interesting skins on the workshop over the course of the next several weeks. And I guess we sit here and expect a brand new small box collection. If that's not selling that much, and we're expecting a lot more small boxes to appear after it, don't you think that might work out quite all right? Pending Facepunch doesn't turn around and make a small box DLC. Imagine if they did that. Come on. They wouldn't be that cruel, would they? If you aren't fully aware. As they were accepting more and more skins for this collection, by the time it finished, then Facepunch released their large box DLC, and we might notice it didn't really appreciate that, did it? No. So here's hoping with small boxes getting accepted, maybe the large boxes could also recover. Right, so yeah, there's potential there. I respect that. So, alright, cool. If you're not going to sell that much, all the better for you to rise up in price in the future if we were to see more, and of course being accepted and blah blah blah, you get the idea. So cool, that's also looking pretty interesting. Now aside from that, to be honest with you, everything else, sorry to say, like, okay, I will give props to the electric furnace. It does look cool. I like it. It's nice to see the gear mechanism got a sequel, and it looks like the garage door is appreciating this appearing, because that was suffering a fair bit, but it seems to have recovered a bit as well. But there will be more electric furnaces. There will definitely be more electric furnaces. Like, I know for a fact that with the with this being accepted, Skin Creator is now considering electric furnace. So you're about to see a transparent blue hologram electric furnace soon, and that's also going to look very cool. So, do you understand? There will be more skins. There will be more competition. And whilst it looks cool for what it is, I like the purple glow and whatnot, I'm still a bit iffy, but I could still see quite a lot of people appreciating it, and it's not exactly selling that much. So, I will give a thumbs up to it, but I'd probably just stick with a barger in that regard. And Cold Hunter Amador, hey, that's very cool to see. Ha ha ha, cool, ha 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 ha. Anyway, I should point out, in the past we have seen an armored double door being produced. It wasn't accepted, but it really wouldn't surprise me if we're going to see that getting posted soon enough. A version 2 at the very least. There you go. So if you remember, you remember. But to be honest with you, this design for the single armor door, it is completely different. It's a bit more darker blue. It doesn't reflect that much. I am fully expecting Cold Hunter Collection's now going to dabble into deplorables. And you know what? That collection has progressed very nicely over the past, 8 years? A while, yeah, 8.5 years to be precise. Yeah, it's going to be interesting as it changes into something different. So, sheet metal door, double door, armor double door. Yeah, I'm expecting quite a lot now, if it were to happen. Again, there have been attempts in the past for an armor double door, but I guess with it being the focused item month, Face Punch just thought, yeah, let's give that a shot. So, yep, cool. Can't guarantee we're definitely going to see a lot more deplorables actually being accepted, but you can also dream. Yeah. Keep an eye on the workshop. I'm sure Mr. MDE will be producing some very interesting skins. In fact, have people asked? Got 5 comments. Let's go find out. Yeah, no. No comments really, so okay, fair enough then. I bring it up because I know the collection's doing fairly well, and I know people appreciate those weapon skins, so I would basically roll with the idea that maybe people appreciate the armored door as well. Yeah. So just to repeat, these 2 skins, whilst I've brought them up, I don't feel as confident with them in comparison to the Revolver and, of course, the small box. So let me also now bring up the metal shop fronts. It's nice to see that we've got some interesting options, but in 2 weeks we've seen 4 metal shop fronts already. In fact, how are the previous 2 currently doing? So that's still slightly in the positive, and that's still slightly in the positive. Hey, maybe they'll work out perfectly fine. I'm still unsure if people are actively now trying to get metal shop fronts onto their bases. I understand it's not for every single type of base. And are people actively trying to skin them with these skins? Like, you're going to have to comment below. You're going to have to keep me informed. How are you approaching? Are you wanting to use metal shop fronts now just because you bought the Popstar shop front? Be honest. Be honest with me. But again, wow, okay, that's 9 skins accepted in 3 months. That is ridiculous. So maybe that'll work out perfectly fine just because its collection's doing very, 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 very good. Can I just sit here and say the sheet metal door is now $7.50? You did buy a lot of them, right? You did buy a lot of them, right? Yeah. You're definitely a Popstar enjoyer. You're definitely a Popstar investor, right? You didn't just sit there and say, I hate it, and just let the money slip from your hands and all the potential profit that could have made you very happy, right? Yeah. So, you know, Armored Door's already doing very good already as well. Ooh. Anyway, they look nice. I'm very happy to see this design was also produced as well. An actual intended design that's wanting to trade. I'm just a little bit upset they didn't accept the version with the Alistair poster. That would have been funny. If you haven't seen it yourself, this is what I showcased in my special little short video. If we could get the back, you'll see with your own eyes. There's a special little poster. There he is. But Face Punch didn't want to accept it. Dang. But I could see people appreciating that. The role players. But then again, the weebs. Okay, so I'm still unsure about them. That's why I just didn't really feel so confident in them and whatnot. Maybe it'll just work out perfectly fine because it's Popstar. And that very likely could just be the answer. But we basically said the same thing last week in regards to Firefly's Middle Shopfront and Space Station. Firefly's is an in-demand collection. Yep, it's an in-demand collection. That's a lot of green, and that's a lot of green positivity. And Space Theme skins, they've been working out quite nicely over the past half year, so yeah. But other than that, the remaining other skins, I'm just not really feeling that much for them. Sorry to say. Maybe a sheer lack of sales could work out very nicely in their favour. Probably. But, yeah. I thought I'd just jump straight in today and just talk about what actually looks pretty interesting. So again, in all honesty, I only really think the Revolver is the actual, good shout. Where this is positioned, with the possibility of what happens next and the sales it has, this is also looking pretty sweet as well. So we'll see how it goes. But again, maybe people are a little bit scarred, panicky about what happened previously with what, the Sinotype large boxes, they can't sleep at night knowing what happened. But yes, mainly these 2 that are looking interesting. Everything else, there might be some interesting things. There might be some interesting collection continuations that could give them a boost. It's mainly those 2. So, alright then. That was reasonably quick, wasn't it? let's now go throw in some other interesting details. So if I could just also point out, commits, keep an eye on them. We're now working towards August 2026, and it looks as if the brand new DLC is going to be, well, finalized. It definitely looks as if the Game Room DLC is going to be the DLC for August. And Protox has already got a video showcasing that. I'll link that in the description. You could just go look up Game Room DLC for Rust on YouTube right now. Protox is, yeah, his video will be there surely. But it like with what he had, it doesn't look fully finished yet. So over the course of the next few weeks, I'm sure it'll look a lot better. Obviously, it's on staging and whatnot. To be honest with you, whilst it does look pretty cool, it does look a bit small. Like if it was only like a $5 or $8 DLC, all right, fair enough then. But yeah, it looks a bit small. I'm not sure if everyone's going to go super crazy for such a thing. Now, sculptures. I'm still not really sure what's going on here. Rock sculptures. Huh. Are we going to be able to like chisel marble? Sure. Well, I wouldn't be opposed to it. It would be pretty cool. But yeah, rock sculptures are being worked on. I mean, we'll see what that amounts to. Is that more specifically like being able to dig into the ground so it could be like Minecraft but Rust? That'd be pretty funny, or absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we'll see how that goes. And of course, what appears to be the next main thing that Facepunch are working towards. We are now expecting cows, sheep, and rabbits for farms. Yes, the farming update is expected later this year. And yeah, they're working on animations for cow. Cow lean animations. I didn't realise cows drink lean. Wow, they're pretty cool. Okay, well, yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, farm animals. I wonder what's that gonna what's it gonna lead to? Like, okay, we got cows. They make milk. And I guess they'd, if you cut them up, they make a lot of meat and leather. But what is the milk going to amount to? New recipes that give you different buffs? Or are we going to make cheese? What's the cheese going to do? What's the cheese going to do? All right. I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, like with, being able to make pies, that led to special buffs. We've already got special buffs. Are you telling me we're just going to get the same thing again? Or is that going to amount to something different? I imagine, having sheep would lead to, a lot of wool. And, I mean, maybe it could lead to even better style of clothing and whatnot. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, what will this amount to? Would it actually be worth the effort to build up a farm? We'll see. Can I farm the crocodiles? Please? That'd be funny. All right, cool. I still believe, right, if you're going to add, like, all these animals, could you add a cassowary into the jungle? That would be scary. Yeah. Alright, cool. So, alright. New main thing to look forward to in the future. That's all cool. And, oh yeah, small backpacks are the brand new Skinnable for August 2026. Brand new skins have already been posted. The first one, of course, was from Mr. Shedmon. We got a collection continuation right there. The Phantom small box. A nice and stylish looking design. So over the course of this weekend, be prepared. A lot more small backpacks are expected. Can also point out Corey's one. Would you like to become an Uber driver? Yes, I'm sure you would. So yeah, some pretty cool designs for small backpacks are already being worked on. And inevitably, there will be Twitch drops, there will be kick drops. Cool. But what collection are you hoping to see making a skin sooner rather than later? What would you absolutely adore seeing being made? Like, inevitably, we're going to see a No Mercy small backpack. You just know it's going to happen, don't you? Blackout, I guess? Yeah, I mean, yeah, that'll probably happen. Alright, cool. So, that's all nice. So overall, with the skins we have this week, I'll ask you, what was your most favourite? Were you actually pleased? Where is the clothing and the armour? I don't know. Now, can I just quickly talk about last week as well? With last week, turns out we didn't actually see any of the skins reach up to 30,000 subscribers. They were close, but they didn't actually achieve that. But, 2 nights ago, we did the Abnormal Barders. And I'd just like to sit here and say, oh, I didn't mean to do that. There you go. I'd just like to sit here and say, after we looked at all the skins, I actually felt very confident to actually jump in and buy some of those skins. When it comes to investments, I would always recommend do the Abnormal Barders first and then start guessing what you're going to do next, all right? It's always smarter to be patient. Now, being patient, I waited. I jumped in the end, and I bought 30 of the armored doors. I bought 30 of the saps. I bought 50 of the boonie hats, and I also went and grabbed myself a sneaky 20 Abyss auto turrets, because I thought they just really didn't sell that much. Now, of course, last night, when the Rust Door eventually rotated, it was a fair bit late. Not ridiculously late, but later than normal. So, you know, this got some extra time to get some extra sales in. And yet, still, didn't actually match all the way up to what we're expecting. But honestly, they did sell quite a lot. I'm not expecting sales numbers that we saw here to happen with the likes of what we see here. But again, I'll always say, it's smarter to wait until Wednesday. Let's get those abnormal barders out of the way, then look at all the support for all the skins, then question, is it a good idea to jump in and, you know, make some investments, all right? So, just like to point out, I did buy in quite a lot last week, or rather for last week's skins. It might just be a case of, I'll be buying a lot, but maybe just of 1 or 2 skins. Yeah. Now, I could also point out, with all the skins this week, we actually only got 1 early pick, which was the Popstar shopfront. So, of course, if you want to stay up to date for what potentially could be accepted in upcoming Rust Doors, consider watching the most recent Rust Workshop skin checks for July 7, 2026. Basically, with next week's Rust Door, chances are quite a lot of the skins will actually be from here. Yeah, I'm not joking. That seems to be the pattern. All the skins that have been, predominantly, the majority of skins that have been accepted in recent Rust Doors were from not the previous batch of skin submissions, but the week before. So basically, look at all the skins you see here. Chances are the majority of skins for the next Rust Door will be appearing that you can see here. And yes, there is the likes of the Forest Raiders tactical gloves, the Redemption hoodie and pants, and the Hellcore Tier 2 version 2. Look, Face Punch, if you accepted all 3 of those groups, a lot of people will forgive you for the lack of clothing armor this week. They really would. They really would. They'll be very happy, right? So maybe Face Punch did this on purpose because they already know what they're going to do next week. Or maybe we're just coping. We do that quite a lot, don't we? Yeah. Alright, cool. So I think I've pretty much addressed everything. And again, if you only specifically want to see the comparisons of the Revolver, I literally made a short video right there. Yeah, I had to get that out as soon as possible, just to make sure that people were aware you don't need to dump your Olympus and your Allpart Revolvers. I mean, they still did. But if anything, with what we see with that optimized Revolver being accepted, means that we're probably not going to see another Revolver skin being accepted for quite some time now, which also means we're not going to be seeing a fully transparent Revolver like Olympus and like older Pirate Revolver being accepted anytime soon whatsoever. Chances are maybe not for another half a year. So both of those Revolvers are now actually looking to be much better potential investments, and people are dumping them. So maybe jump into them because they're probably going to reach brand new all-time high prices. I'm just saying. Right, cool. Let's also bring up Tiltify. Oh, this might take a while. Refresh. There you go. Sometimes it takes a while. Just got to refresh again. So it is a bit slow to update. I'm sure you noticed with the recent update in regards to the amount of sales we saw. It's taking a little bit longer now. But to be honest with you, the amount of money that's been raised as of recent definitely has slowed down compared to like the first few days from, well, a week ago. Getting to that auto turret is very likely going to take another week. And again, it's looking as if it's a bit slower now to update itself. It's fine. I mean, it wasn't a rush. If anything, the fact that we got 4 unlocked so quickly is already amazing and phenomenal. But yes, be a little bit patient. The auto turret is going to take a while. But can I just sit here and say, number one, thank you to all the people that have been donating. Can I just quickly dedicate some time to give props to the Art of Rust server and, of course, Monstera, because they have raised over $8,000. What? $8,000? What? So, if you aren't fully well aware, for every $20 people donate, you can suggest an animal of sorts, and they've got like a massive collage. They are building a super insane massive art of all the suggestions that people are putting down. So yeah, they have been getting a lot of donations, and they have been streaming non-stop, arting non-stop. They're just constantly drawing more and more and more things, and look at all the lovely people that have been donating to them. So props to you, massive props. But again, massive props to Monstera and the Art of Rust server. They just will not stop. So I wouldn't be surprised if they managed to go all the way up to $12,000. They have been doing absolutely ridiculous numbers. But you know what? Can I also sit here and say Thank you to all the people that have also donated to me as well. I mean, I'm just the guy that sits here and rambles all the time, and yet you still stepped up. So can I just sit here and say thank you to Anonymous, that's a new person, Tenecates, The Gateway Nut, Nailu, Stabby, Tag Your It, Kai, Nala, and I'm the Spark. You've been incredibly lovely people. Thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy those teddy bears, or rather, I hope you enjoy the codes. You might want to use them up sooner rather than later. Don't forget, we don't know how long they go on for. Or at least, you know, you gift them to someone who would greatly appreciate them. Lovely stuff, lovely stuff. Cool, so that is pretty much everything that needs to be said. I would also recommend, for you, the Ruskin investor, right? Consider giving this a good watch. Now, of course, Road to Big Grin is based around my isolated account, in which I'm slowly trying to gain more and more funds to eventually be able to buy a big grin. But the main basis of this particular video was learning about what usually happens from June to July and August, because you might have noticed, yes, we did have we did have a June dip. We did have a June dip. Prices in general have dropped down between like 10 to 20%. But it's usually the second or third week of July where we then start to really notice prices improving. And I do talk about a certain AK-47 where I was sitting there and say, now what? That's already just got a sequel. Imagine if you got another one. Ha ha ha. Imagine if it did get another one. You know, another Rusto. Ha ha ha. That optimized AK-47 is going to probably have a very fun time. But yes, the resolution with this video was, I still feel the need to wait a little bit longer before I properly jump in and start putting an effort in to try and get some sales in. Because, well, I want to get optimal profit, especially for an isolated account. So, cool, yeah. I would recommend the same to you, but you probably have already noticed quite a few skins have already gone up to brand new all-time high prices. It was happening with the revolvers, but then another revolver appeared, so that kind of caused a bit of a problem, didn't it? In fact, go to the front page of the Steam market, you'll notice Old Pot Revolver and Olympus Revolver, they're still being thrown on the Steam market. Like, stop doing that. Stop doing that. You really don't need to be doing that. I'm giving you as much warning as I can. Cool, cool, cool. And yeah, Popstar's on the front page as well. Yay! Yay! Yep. Comics is getting bought out. Whiteout's getting bought out. Hopefully the Mummy Wraps gets bought out a little bit more as well. Considering all the skin tone changes we had, what with the updated player models, perhaps a lot of people feel the need to buy these now because their characters are just too pale white. I can't hide in the jungle anymore. I'm a ghost. People spot me from so far away, especially the tigers. So yeah, let's see if we're going to start noticing some proper improvements. Yes, again, you can see the dip happening there, but it doesn't look like it's dipping anymore. That is slowly starting to go back up again. We very likely will see the majority of prices peaking next month in August. And can I also point out, player count's been alright. It hasn't been phenomenal or crazy, but it's doing good. And good is good. Yes, I think we could agree upon that. Yeah, good is good. Alright, cool. You can use micro522.com to stay up to date in regards to all the new skin submissions, or look on the workshop yourself. But I really do believe we're about to see a lot of very interesting skins appearing on the workshop this weekend. Keep an eye out. Lots of very interesting things indeed. Right then, so that's pretty much everything. I truly believe we're truly done. One more final refresh. That optimized revolver actually is starting to pick up a fair bit. Maybe it's because people are finally out of work and school and they've seen it and they want to buy it now. Rough estimate, I do believe that's going to reach up to 25,000 subscribers. I believe a lot of people are going to wait till the very last second, then buy out a bunch of them. But again, we hardly ever see revolver skins being accepted. They do tend to be very nice and reliable investments. And the fact that it does have some transparency, yeah, it's still good. So, alright, cool. I hope you have a splendid weekend. Thank you very much for watching the video. Feel free to comment below if you've got any concerns, issues or problems. I'll try my best to comment and help you out. But again, it does appear to be a bit of a quiet week and therefore a shorter video. So, alright, cool. That's it. That's a wrap. Catch you later. Say goodbye.